You can easily add a variety of lights to your comp. Now, what I'm going to do is go to the layer menu. And don't forget, I'm currently in 3D mode if you guys watched the previous lesson. So we're going to see the light take effect on this piece of artwork that we have in our comp panel. So once again, go to layer, and you'll notice that I can't choose anything because once again, you have to make sure you're in either the comp panel or the timeline to add something. So I'm going to go to my comp window and make sure it's highlighted in orange. New. I'll choose light. The light settings, a dialog box appears before the light actually shows up. And we get to choose several things. First of all, we can name our light. So I'm just going to go ahead spotlight. And then we have, of course, the light type dialog box. So I could choose a parallel light, a spotlight, a point, or an ambient. Now the difference between these lights is, think of a parallel light as the sun, right? It's going to point light in all directions and it's going to go in a straight line. For now, even though I named this spot, we'll go ahead and create a parallel light and just say okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in to this view so we can see this light more clearly. I'm going to go to my camera controls up here. And I'm going to choose the track Z camera just so I could click my mouse and move in this viewport like so to move myself forward. And I'll hit the space bar on my keyboard so I could just show you the light. We'll worry about the effect that it has in just a moment. And once again, think about it like a sun. It's going to shoot the light rays in a straight line and it's not going to do anything but that, like the real sun. I'll go back to the layer menu and I'm going to go to the light menu again. And I'm going to change this from parallel to spotlight. Now, a spotlight is just like the lights you would see on a Broadway production. You know, you have that round light and you have those barn door shutters that open and close. So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. And now we have a different light. Let me go ahead and select the spotlight down here in my timeline and just turn it off so we can just see what we have here. So here is the new light. And don't forget, the reason this says spot is because I named it spot. So the spotlight is a cone. You can see that here as well. And what the cone does is it emanates and shoots light through this guy. And you can control the width of that light. All right, so you can get a nice soft edge called a penumbra and really get this a really nice feeling to your renders. So I'll twirl this guy open and you can see we have some light options here. And we can control the radius of that light. We can control the fall off distance and more. All right, so that is the spotlight. I'll go back here again, choose light, and we'll choose a different light. We'll go to point light. A point light is a nice soft light that radiates in all directions. Think of it like a little candle light. All right, so you hold up a candle and you have a source of light that is emanating all around it. So I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And once again, I'm going to turn off the other light. So you see we have this little point light. And it emanates a soft light, as I mentioned, all around in every single direction. And last but not least, we have our ambient light. An ambient light is a type of light that colors or puts a color cast of whatever the environment is on everything else. That's just a broad explanation. But think about it this way. You go to a beach, all right? It's a very bright day. Everything's going to have that really saturated, warm glow. But at nighttime, let's say a full moon, everything's going to have that kind of cast on it as well. So what I can do is change the color of that ambient light like this. Hit OK. And see the ambient light now takes over. So everything has a bluish color. So I go ahead and turn the other light off. And now here's the ambient light. All right. So the ambient light affects whatever we have going on there. Go ahead and twirl that open and we can see the light options and we can also access that color here. So I go ahead and choose a different color like gray. And now we have a different feel. Grab the eyedropper again and let's choose, let's see what I have here, this guy. And we have an ambient color affecting the entire thing. What this ambient allows you to do is really set a mood. So if you're in the Arctic, for example, and you want to really show a nice cold feeling, you can cool everything off. And if you're in the Serengeti, where I live, of course I don't, I can go ahead and put that on there. It's a really hot day. It's like go inside and get some lemonade. So that is a look at the different types of lights that we have inside of After Effects. These lights can really give your comps a different mood and a different feeling.